How's it going, everybody? Frantically Zach here, and today we're going to be playing some hardcore headquarters again. So, I wanted to talk about basketball today. So I'm a huge Miami Heat fan, so kind of want to talk about how their offseason went and what I wish they would have did better, but wait till I get into a game here. Yeah, it seems like it's taking a while. But I know a lot of Miami Heat fans are upset with, the way things went this offseason, but I don't think it's all that bad. I'm disappointed in a few things, and I hope by the time the trading deadline comes, they'll, make some moves. I do think they should trade Goran Dragic. I don't think he fits what they're trying to do long term. I think they should, get a young guy that can take his spot. Maybe even Justice Winslow. Start him at the point guard, because he said at the end of the season that he wants to play more point guard. So why not, see how that works? But I don't think Eric Spoelstra, the coach, is going to do that. He's a huge fan of Dragic, so. But we'll see. Also, Josh Richardson. I think he should be their number one scoring option. I think he's got the potential to be, a 20-point scorer in this league or in the NBA. And then same with Dion Waiters. A lot of Heat fans don't like Dion Waiters, but I think he's just had injury problems the last couple of years, and I think he could be a semi-all-star this year, or this upcoming season, if he's healthy. If he's not healthy, then I don't think he'll be, or have that great of a season, but they should at least give him the opportunity, same with Josh Richardson, to be the two main scoring options. But that's not going to happen if, you have Goran Dragic taking up most of the minutes, most of the shots. Same with Hassan Whiteside. And that's another player I think they should try to trade before the deadline. I think Bam Adebayo, or whatever his last name is, hard to pronounce, but I think he should be their starting center going forward. He's just more versatile, more all around as a player. And with him only being 20 years old, he's got a lot of room to develop. Which Hassan Whiteside, he's, we already know what he is and what he can do, which isn't much. He's a great rebounder. He can block shots, but he's pretty slow on defense. His offensive game is very limited, which I'm not a huge fan of, especially in today's NBA. Back-to-basket bigs are good, but that's not what people look for nowadays. So it's going to be hard to trade him if they try to trade him, but I don't think they will. He's another favorite of Pat Riley's, which I don't understand. Pat Riley likes defenders, guys that are going to, give all to the game, but Hassan Whiteside hasn't really proved that he does that, which is why a lot of us Heat fans are upset with him. But I don't know, can't really hate on him for how he got to the NBA, so he went overseas for a few years. He struggled to make it, but it wouldn't be too bad if we didn't give him a max contract. I think that's the biggest thing that we're upset about when it comes to him. I do think another young player that deserves an opportunity is Derrick Jones Jr. Very athletic player. People probably know him for his dunks, but he's more than just a dunker. And he can do a lot of things on the court. So another NBA topic I wanted to talk about was Manu Ginobili retiring. So there's been a debate on Twitter recently about if he's a Hall of Famer, and a lot of people don't think he is, but in my opinion, for what he did for the Spurs organization, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame and get his jersey retired, and obviously he will get his jersey retired, but I don't think it should be a debate. I think he's a surefire Hall of Famer. Same with a lot of people talk about Tony Parker, and if he's a Hall of Famer, but at least on Twitter, this is all what Twitter says. They put that debate on Twitter. Oh, is Tony Parker Hall of Famer? But everybody already knows he is. It's kind of a stupid thing to debate about, but David West also retired a couple days ago. He had a couple good All-Star seasons when he was in New Orleans, when he played with Chris Paul. He's definitely not a Hall of Famer, but I think he deserves, some respect for what he was able to do. At the end of his career, he kind of chased rings, though, which I'm not a huge fan of players that chase rings, but if you're towards the end of your career, I think it's alright. I don't have a big issue with it. I can't really say much because, we had Ray Allen come to our team and pretty much hit the biggest shot of his career and one of the biggest shots of all time, so I still would love to know what Dwayne Wade is doing. Again, it's only 3 weeks away from training camp and he still hasn't decided. If he does return, it's going to be a limited role, which is whatever. I think he could still give us something in 20 minutes a game. 10 to 12 points, get you some rebounds, get you some assists, but more so just be a great leader for the young guys. That's what they need. I don't see why Miami couldn't be probably a top 5 seed in the East if everybody's healthy, which is a question mark. They've had problems with health in the recent years. But I think the guys that were injured have had enough time to kind of rehab and get their bodies back to 100%. So pretty excited about the season. So last year it didn't really end the way we wanted it to. We ran into a good young 76ers team with Ben Simmons and Embiid. They're going to probably be top 3 in the East next year for sure. Kind of excited to see what Ben Simmons does with his jump shot. Apparently he's added a 3-point shot to his game, but I don't think it's going to work out. He should just stick to his strengths. Kind of like what LeBron did when he came in. He stuck to his strengths, and then as he got older, he kind of expanded his game to the 3-point line. He was just bigger and stronger than anybody else that guarded him, so he didn't really need to have a 3-point shot. That's just what Ben Simmons should do too. Just play to your strengths and see what happens. What else happened this offseason? Oh, the Kawhi Leonard trade. I think it was a good trade for San Antonio. I don't think you could have got a better player for Kawhi Leonard than they did. Unless you go with young guys, but they didn't really want young guys. They wanted guys that are going to help them win now. And that's what DeRozan will do. So I think both teams got to win. If Kawhi Leonard does choose to stay in Toronto, I think they won the trade, obviously, but that's still up in the air what he's going to do. He says he wants to be in LA, but you never know with him. He might like Toronto. He might want to stay there for a long time. So. But I do think he makes them better, for sure. But some of the things Miami Heat fans are upset about are us not trading Tyler Johnson and his terrible contract. You know, it was a four-year, $50 million contract, but the way it worked was the first 2 years he gets $5 million a season, the next 2 he gets $20 million for each season. And he's not a $20 million player a year. Maybe 10, which is more reasonable for type of player he is. He's not a star player. He's not a, not a high IQ player. He just goes out, plays hard, hits a few shots a game, but just not what he's worth, or it's not what he's worth. So that's probably why they haven't traded him, just because there is no market for him right now. Same with James Johnson. He's a solid player, but not for $15 million a year. They kind of screwed up there, which I'm not too upset about. At least it's not $20 million a year, so they still got a little bit of room to work with. But he still takes up minutes from guys like Justice and Kelly, which he shouldn't. These young guys need to play and get minutes. You need to see what they can do rather than what these older players can do. We know James Johnson's always been a role player. He's always been on a different team every year and hasn't really shown what people thought that he could do. So that's why the contract situation really confuses me of why they would give him so much. But it's what it is. I still think he can contribute to Miami in a big way, just not for that price range. So, oh shit. Yeah, nothing else really excited happened this NBA offseason. DeMarcus Cousins going to the Warriors, which it's another thing people hated, but nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows if he's going to come back 100% or how he's going to produce. But even if he does have a great season, he ain't going to stay in Golden State next year because they can't afford him. They can't afford, 5 max players. Unless they want to go over the tax, but I don't think they're going to. Or they're already over the tax, but they're over the limit, but they're not going to want to go that much over. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year. But they're more than likely going to win the championship again, so. Some people think Houston's going to challenge them, which they will challenge them, but I think, they're not going to have the same defensive team. Getting rid of Trevor Ariza, and it's a big loss for them. He didn't provide much offensively, but defensively, like guarding Kevin Durant, guarding Klay Thompson, he did a good job in that series. Carmelo Anthony can't defend, so I don't know who's going to guard Kevin Durant when they meet up, because they probably will meet up in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Lakers aren't going to make the conference finals. As great as LeBron is, he doesn't have that second star beside him to kind of get them over that hump. Which is what LeBron has needed throughout his career, is that second player to help get him there, right? But yeah, it's nothing really exciting happened that we did not expect, at least. We all expected LeBron to go to the Lakers, and the only thing is probably DeMarcus Cousins. That was unexpected, but it's not something that people need to freak out about, you know what I mean? So, yeah, anyway, that's going to do it for this video, and if you like the video, leave a like and subscribe. See ya.